Most people dream of success, but very few are willing to do what it takes to make it a reality. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone wants to work for it. If you want to stand out, grow, and truly achieve something great, you must be willing to do the hard things every single day. The truth is simple. If you avoid struggle, you also avoid success. But if you are ready to push past your limits, you will discover the power to build the life you've always imagined. Every great achievement begins with a single choice, a choice to step away from comfort and embrace the difficult. This is the unbreakable law of success, written into the very story of human progress. The difference between those who rise to greatness and those who settle for mediocrity lies in one thing: their willingness to do what others won't. The world is full of people chasing comfort, security, and the predictable path, but history doesn't remember them. History remembers the few who dared to go beyond the ordinary, who stood tall in the face of adversity, and who refused to break when life pressed against them. Think about the blacksmith who tempers steel and fire, shaping it until it is unbreakable. Your mind is no different. Only through resistance does it grow strong. The greatest inventors, the boldest thinkers, and the most fearless leaders didn't search for easy roads. They walked the hard path, the one filled with setbacks, failures, and obstacles. And they did it willingly, knowing that struggle is the price of transformation. Every time you choose the difficult path, you distance yourself from the crowd. You forge resilience, you sharpen your mind, and you build a spirit that refuses to quit. Those who avoid discomfort will never know how far they can truly go, because they've never dared to test their limits. But those who embrace the pain of discipline are the ones who taste the rewards of persistence. Life will test you. The universe bends to the will of those who refuse to surrender. The battle for success isn't one out there in the world. It's one inside your mind. Doubt will come. Fear will whisper. Fatigue will beg you to quit. And in those moments, you will face the ultimate choice. Will you push forward, or will you give up? That single decision will shape the course of your destiny. Every leader, every innovator, every person who has ever left a mark on this world has stood at that crossroad. The question is, when your moment comes, what will you choose? They have felt the weight of exhaustion, the sting of failure, and the darkness of uncertainty, but they persisted. They understood that just beyond the threshold of pain lies the reward that most will never see. Because when the mind is locked on a definite goal and the will is fueled by unwavering persistence, nothing is impossible. It is not enough to dream, it is not enough to hope, because action is the bridge between vision and reality. And action, especially when taken in the face of discomfort, becomes the catalyst for transformation. Greatness is reserved for those who dare to endure. The only question is, will you be one of them? Most people spend their lives chasing comfort. They seek security, they avoid risk, and in doing so, they unknowingly chain themselves to a life of mediocrity. Comfort is a dangerous illusion. It lulls you into complacency, convincing you that you are safe, that you are satisfied, but safety and satisfaction mean nothing when they come at the cost of your growth. Look around you. Every great innovation, every success story you admire, was born out of discomfort. The entrepreneur who risked everything, the athlete who trained until their body could take no more, the artist who poured their soul into their craft despite rejection after rejection, they all refused to let comfort define them. They understood that while comfort feels good in the moment, it is the enemy of progress. The mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger when challenged and weaker when idle. Those who settle for what is easy never discover the full power of their potential because they never push beyond their limits. But those who embrace discomfort develop resilience. They forge an unshakable mindset, and they become the architects of their own destiny. The world doesn't reward those who stand still. It rewards those who dare to move forward despite the odds. When the Wright brothers set out to conquer the skies, the world met them with skepticism. When Henry Ford set out to revolutionize the automobile industry, the world ridiculed him. And yet, they pushed forward. They faced failure, they endured discomfort, and they kept going. And in doing so, they changed the world. The question is, when your moment comes, will you choose comfort or will you choose growth? When Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before perfecting the light bulb, the world called him foolish. But men like him were never chasing comfort. They were chasing something far greater. They embraced hardship, knowing that on the other side of struggle lay greatness. Most people will never choose this path. Most will cling to what is familiar, to what feels safe. They will tell themselves that tomorrow is a better day to start, that the risk is too great, that they are content where they are, and so the years will pass. And one day they will look back and wonder why the dreams they once believed in never became reality. But for those who understand the truth, the decision is always clear. Growth only happens when you push yourself beyond what is familiar. It happens when you dare to challenge yourself, when you willingly step into the unknown. It is in the moments of discomfort, when you are exhausted, when you are filled with doubt, when you are tempted to quit, that you are standing on the edge of transformation. The difference between those who achieve and those who fall short is simple. It is not intelligence, it is not talent, and it is not luck. It is the willingness to do what is hard, to persist when others retreat, to sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term fulfillment. So which path will you choose? The safety of stagnation or the discomfort of progress? One will chain you to where you are. The other will take you to where you are meant to be. The answer will define your future. The road to success is never paved with ease. It is covered in obstacles, failures, and setbacks. But these are not signs to turn back. They are confirmations that you are moving in the right direction. No person who has ever achieved greatness did so without facing struggle. No empire has ever risen without resistance. Every failure, every defeat, every hardship is simply a stepping stone to something greater, if you choose to see it that way. The greatest strength you can build is resilience, the ability to rise after every fall, the power to push forward when everything inside you screams to give up. This is the trait that separates those who win from those who only wish. The weak surrender when faced with difficulty. The strong use difficulty as fuel. The greatest minds, the pioneers of industry, the visionaries who shaped history, every single one of them faced hardship beyond measure. But they refused to let it define them. Instead, they let it refine them. Think of the tallest tree in the forest. It did not grow strong because it was never tested. It grew strong because it was forced to stand tall against the wind, the rain, and the storms. And just like that tree, your strength will come from the challenges you overcome. It grew strong because it endured the storms. It bent, but it did not break. The winds tried to uproot it. The rains tried to drown it. Yet it stood tall, growing stronger with every trial. And so it is with you. Your trials are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to shape you, to forge strength where weakness once lived. Resilience is your shield against failure. It is the force that will carry you forward when motivation fades. Because make no mistake, motivation will fade. The excitement of a new goal, the fire that burns so bright in the beginning, will dim. And when it does, most people quit. But not those who have built resilience. They keep going when the journey gets hard. They persist when success seems distant. They understand that greatness is never won in a single moment of inspiration, but earned through the relentless perseverance of struggle. Here's the truth. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you build. And you build it every time you refuse to surrender. Every time you face adversity and choose to press on, you strengthen it. Every time you fall and rise again, you increase your capacity to withstand even greater challenges. History has proven this time and time again. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before perfecting the light bulb. Abraham Lincoln faced defeat after defeat before rising to the highest office in the land. Henry Ford was laughed at before he revolutionized the automobile industry. Imagine if they had surrendered. Their names would be forgotten, their impact erased. But they endured, and in doing so, carved their place in history. The question is, will you endure or will you surrender? The world is full of those who quit, of those who allow temporary discomfort to decide their future. But for those who persist, for those who refuse to accept failure as final, there are no limits. Choose wisely, because in that choice lies your destiny. Success is not an accident. It is the result of clear, deliberate action. And that action begins with a goal. Without a goal, you are like a ship without a compass, drifting, lost, and at the mercy of the wind. No great achievement has ever been born from chance. Every towering success story begins with a definite chief aim, a vision so clear and compelling that it becomes a burning obsession. The most successful people in the world are not just dreamers, they are doers. They don't sit idly by hoping fortune will one day find them. They set clear objectives, break them into actionable steps, and take relentless, consistent action. That is the real formula for achievement. It's not talent, luck, or privilege that separates those who rise to greatness from those who stay trapped in mediocrity. It is discipline. The discipline to set a goal, to chase it with laser focus, and to push forward even when the path gets hard. You must do the same. Decide exactly what you want. Be specific, because vague desires lead only to vague results. A person who simply wishes to be successful will wander endlessly, but the person who declares with absolute conviction, "I will earn this amount, I will build this business, I will master this skill," has already taken the first step toward making it real. Once you've decided on your goal, write it down. The act of writing turns thoughts into reality. A goal that lives only in your mind is nothing more than a wish, but a goal written with clarity becomes a commitment, a promise to yourself, one you must keep. But setting the goal is only the beginning. You must create a plan. Break your goal into small, manageable steps. Each step must be clear, measurable, and bound by time, because success is not built in a single day. It is earned through small, daily efforts that compound over time. The most accomplished people understand this truth. They don't obsess over the distant finish line. They focus on the actions they must take today, right now, to get closer to it. And most importantly, they take action. Every single day. A plan without action is worthless. The world is full of people who dream but never do, who wish but never act, who wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity. But perfection is an illusion. The only path to success is action. The only way forward is to move. Imperfect, relentless action. That is the difference between standing still and moving forward. Never let fear or doubt paralyze you, because the person who hesitates, who second guesses, who waits for permission will stay stuck exactly where they are. But the one who acts, who learns from failure, who refines their approach and keeps pushing despite every obstacle, that's the person who shapes their destiny. Because a goal without action is just a wish, and wishes don't change the world, action does. Purposeful, determined, disciplined action. The choice is always yours. Will you be the dreamer who waits, or the doer who achieves? There is a force more powerful than talent, more essential than intelligence. It's belief. The unshakable conviction that you are capable of achieving whatever you set your mind to. Talent alone is never enough. Intelligence alone is never enough. The world is full of people with extraordinary ability who never reach their potential. Why? Because they lack belief. They allow doubt to poison their dreams. They listen to the voices that whisper, "You're not good enough." And they remain stagnant, trapped in the prison of their own mind. You must not make that mistake. The only limits that exist are the ones you choose to accept. Success isn't reserved for the lucky or the privileged. It belongs to those who dare to believe they can achieve it. But before the world can ever believe in you, you must first believe in yourself. Even when no one else does. Even when failure tells you to quit. Even when the odds are stacked against you. Because success is born in the mind. It is first created in thought before it ever becomes reality. If you can see it, if you can feel it, if you can truly believe it, you can achieve it. This is not wishful thinking. It is a universal truth. Every great accomplishment in history was first a vision, held so tightly in the heart and mind of its creator that no failure, no criticism, no obstacle could shake it. Thomas Edison believed in the light bulb long before it ever lit a room. Henry Ford believed in the automobile long before it changed the world. The Wright brothers believed in flight before a plane ever left the ground. They didn't wait for proof. They didn't ask for permission. They believed, and that belief became reality. But belief is never passive. Belief is not sitting still, wishing for success, and waiting for it to arrive. True belief demands action. It requires persistence. It demands determination. And it tests your willingness to overcome every obstacle in your path. And when the setbacks come, and they will, belief is what keeps you moving forward. It transforms failure from a dead end into a stepping stone. Most people surrender at the first sign of difficulty. They see failure as proof that they're not capable. But those who truly believe understand that failure is nothing more than a lesson, a necessary step on the path to success. They don't let doubt take root. They don't allow fear to dictate their actions. They press forward, knowing that belief, when combined with relentless effort, becomes an unstoppable force. So the question is, what will you choose? Will you allow doubt to control your destiny? Or will you cultivate the unshakable belief that you are meant for something greater? The choice is yours, and within that choice lies the key to your future. Dare to believe. See your success before it happens. Act with conviction. Because the people who believe in themselves, the ones who refuse to accept limitations, the ones who hold firm to their vision despite every obstacle, these are the people who change the world. Passion is the fuel that turns struggles into triumphs. It is the fire that burns inside those who refuse to settle for mediocrity. When you are passionate about something, no setback is strong enough to stop you. No failure is permanent. Passion transforms adversity into opportunity and turns the impossible into the inevitable. Without it, success is shallow and ambition fades. Look at the people who changed the world. They were not driven by money. They were not chasing fame. They were fueled by passion. The great inventors, the pioneers of industry, the revolutionaries of thought, they didn't work merely for profit. They worked because they believed in something greater than themselves. Thomas Edison was relentless in his pursuit of harnessing electricity, failing thousands of times, but never losing sight of his vision. Henry Ford was ridiculed when he dared to bring the automobile to the masses, yet he persisted because his passion outweighed every obstacle. The Wright brothers faced skepticism and repeated failure, but their passion for flight lifted them above all opposition. Passion is the force that separates those who merely wish from those who achieve. When you are truly passionate, quitting is never an option. Those without passion surrender at the first sign of difficulty. They view failure as the end rather than the beginning. But those fueled by passion see failure as a lesson, a temporary detour on the road to success. They use setbacks as fuel to propel them forward, turning every obstacle into a challenge to overcome rather than an excuse to retreat. Find that one thing that sets your soul on fire, the thing that keeps you awake at night, fills your mind with ideas, and drives you to take action even when the odds are stacked against you. A man without passion drifts through life uninspired and unfulfilled, but a man who has discovered his passion becomes unstoppable. He wakes up each day with a sense of purpose, eager to move one step closer to his vision. He does not need external motivation, because his passion fuels him from within. But passion alone is not enough. It must be backed by discipline, persistence, and action. Passion without effort is merely a dream. The world is filled with people who talk about what they love, but never take the necessary steps to turn those dreams into reality. Passion must be harnessed, directed, and sustained through consistent effort. Chase your passion relentlessly. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because perfection is an illusion. Begin where you are, with what you have. Let your passion guide you, drive you, and make you fearless in the face of adversity, because a life without passion is a life half-lived. And those who live with passion, those who dedicate themselves fully to their purpose, are the ones who leave their mark on the world. The question is, will you be one of them? Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every failure you encounter is not a sign to stop, but a lesson to learn. It is a test of your determination, a stepping stone on your journey toward achievement. The greatest men in history, the innovators, the leaders, the pioneers, have failed more times than they have succeeded. Yet their failures did not break them, they built them. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before perfecting the electric light bulb. Each failure brought him closer to his goal, teaching him what did not work so he could refine what would. Henry Ford faced bankruptcy before revolutionizing the automobile industry. Abraham Lincoln endured numerous political defeats before becoming one of the most revered presidents in history. These men did not allow failure to define them. They allowed it to refine them. The only real failure is quitting. As long as you keep going, you have not failed, you've only learned. Every setback carries within it the seed of an equivalent or even greater opportunity. The man who understands this truth never allows defeat to crush him. Instead, he asks, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow? And in doing so, he turns failure into a powerful tool for success. Most people see failure as the end. They hit one setback and convince themselves success is impossible. They allow failure to seep into their minds, eroding their confidence and crushing their ambition. But failure is not a sign that you aren't capable. It's an invitation to improve. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people keep moving forward, no matter how many times they fall. Failure is a teacher. It exposes weaknesses that need to be strengthened, strategies that need to be adjusted, and mindsets that need to be transformed. It forces you to develop resilience, to cultivate patience, and to sharpen your approach. The man who welcomes failure as part of the journey will ultimately reach his destination. The man who fears failure will never take the first step. There is no shame in falling. The only shame is in refusing to rise again. If you stumble, if you fall, if you face obstacles that seem impossible to overcome, remember this. Every great success story is written in chapters of failure. The question is not whether you will fail. The question is how you will respond when you do. Will you allow failure to defeat you, or will you let it strengthen your resolve? The answer to that question will determine whether you achieve greatness or join the countless souls who surrendered too soon. Success belongs to the one who refuses to quit, who sees failure not as a curse, but as a gift, a necessary step on the path to victory. So take heart. Embrace failure. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Let it push you forward. Because as long as you persist, you have not truly failed. You've only prepared yourself for success. The day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. Knowledge is power, and it is the foundation upon which all success is built. No man has ever achieved greatness by staying comfortable with what he already knows. The mind, like a muscle, must be exercised, constantly stretched, with new ideas, sharpened by experience, and refined through the pursuit of wisdom. Those who stop learning, who believe they've reached the peak of their knowledge, unknowingly begin their decline. The most successful people in the world are lifelong students. They never assume they know enough. They read voraciously, absorbing the wisdom of those who came before them. They seek mentors, people who have already walked the path they dream of treading. They invest in their personal growth, knowing that every new lesson learned is another tool added to their arsenal. They understand that ignorance is the greatest enemy of progress, and they guard against it by constantly expanding their understanding of the world around them. Consider the most powerful minds in history. Thomas Edison, despite his genius, never stopped experimenting and never stopped learning from his failures. Henry Ford surrounded himself with people who knew more than he did, ensuring his business stayed ahead of its time. Andrew Carnegie built an empire not because he had all the answers, but because he had the wisdom to seek knowledge from those who did. Both men understood one simple truth. Success depends on your ability to learn and adapt. Never be satisfied with what you know today, because the knowledge that brought you success yesterday may not be enough to sustain you tomorrow. The world evolves, industries shift, new ideas emerge, and those who refuse to learn are left behind. But those who remain open to growth, who relentlessly seek new knowledge, position themselves at the forefront of success. Yet knowledge alone is never enough. It must be applied. A man may read 100 books, listen to 1,000 lectures, and gather advice from the greatest minds alive. But if he fails to act on what he learns, his knowledge is no more powerful than ignorance. The true power of learning lies in its application. Wisdom isn't measured by what you know. It's measured by what you do with what you know. Make learning a daily habit. Read something of value every single day. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking. Study the lives of those who have accomplished what you dream of achieving. Write down the lessons you learn and apply them with purpose in your pursuit of success. Do not let a single day pass without acquiring new knowledge, because in doing so, you guarantee your growth. Your potential is limitless, and knowledge is the key that will unlock it. The man who dedicates himself to lifelong learning will always rise above the man who believes he already knows enough. The real question is not whether you have the ability to succeed. The real question is whether you will continue to seek the knowledge that will make success inevitable. Dreaming is easy. Talking is easy. But action is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. The world is full of men with great ideas, men who speak eloquently about their ambitions, men who promise to accomplish great things. But ideas without execution are meaningless, and words without action hold no power. Success is reserved for those who take deliberate, consistent action toward their goals. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't act, that knowledge is worthless. Knowledge alone doesn't build empires. It doesn't create wealth. It doesn't bring success. The man who reads 100 books on success but never applies a single lesson will always be surpassed by the man who reads only one and acts on it. Action is the bridge between knowledge and achievement. It's the force that turns dreams into reality. Too many people wait. They wait for the perfect moment, for the right conditions, for the stars to align. But here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. There never has been, and there never will be. The conditions will never be ideal, and waiting only leads to wasted time. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who act despite uncertainty. They know that progress is not made through hesitation, but through movement. The most powerful step you can take is the first one. It doesn't matter how small. What matters is that you begin. Every great journey starts with a single step. Every great achievement begins with a decision to move forward. The entrepreneur who builds an empire starts with one idea, one sale, one customer. The writer who creates a masterpiece starts with a single word on a blank page. The leader who changes the world starts with one act of courage. Don't fall into the trap of overthinking. Don't wait until you feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Success isn't about waiting until you feel ready. It's about acting before you are. The moment you take that first step, you set something powerful into motion. Action creates momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence leads to greater action, and soon, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. There will be obstacles. There will be setbacks. There will be failures. But these are not reasons to stop. They are reasons to keep going. Every mistake is a lesson. Every failure is a stepping stone. Those who persist despite difficulties are the ones who rise to greatness. So ask yourself, will you be the one who waits, or will you be the one who acts? Your future depends on your answer. Success is not about what you intend to do. It's about what you actually do. The time to act is now, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, start small, but remember this, nothing happens until you take that first step. And once you do, you'll realize that action, not just thought, not just words, is the true key to success. You have everything you need to succeed. The only question is, will you use it? Will you step into discomfort? Will you do what's hard? Or will you settle for mediocrity? The choice is yours. But remember this, your time is now, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, take control. Do what's hard, and watch as your life transforms. So what will it be? Will you wait for the perfect moment, or will you take action and start making things happen? The choice is yours, and trust me, your future depends on it. Remember, success isn't about waiting for the right conditions. It's about taking that first step, no matter how small. So start today, move forward, make mistakes, learn, grow, and never stop pushing. Your time is now. Let's go make it happen. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, take control, take action, and let's crush those goals together. See you in the next one.